Okay guys, this is your 5th practice paper, paper 1, and as always this is going to help you a lot. Right, nice and straightforward. That's just substitution. C equals -5, so we want to do -5 squared minus 4 times -5. So -5 squared is 25. Now -4 times -5 is actually +20. That's 45. I'm going to use pink today just to mix up the colours. Solve this question. So you just multiply by 4 both sides. So we're going to get 5x minus 3. Remember the whole term is multiplied by 4, so I always like to put it in a bracket. Do remember to multiply that out. Both terms. Now sometimes I get to do that myself and I'll make a mistake. Minus the smallest amount of x. That's the 5x. So you're going to get -3 equals 3x plus 12. You know to minus the 12 now. Be careful your negative, so that's going to be -15 equals 3x. And from there you know x equals -5. That should both be banker marks for you. 3, well, it looks a bit different, but what's to the... Well, you know it's anything to the power of 0 equals 1, so x must equal 0. Okay. So it's dividing in next laws, -8. You know when it's dividing we subtract the powers, so what you're doing here is -6 because you're just subtracting the powers. So that changes to a plus. So that's 3 to the power of -8 plus 6, so n is going to be -2 here. Solve the simultaneous equations. Ooh, okay. Depends what you want to match up. I'm going to just match up the y's. So I'm going to times that by 5, times that by 2. So I'm going to get 35x plus 10y equals 27.5. I'm going to write the other one on top. No, I want to write this here. So we get 6x. This is going to give you 1 mark. Minus 10y equals 34. Now, the signs are different, so we add them. Because if we add them, we cancel out those terms. So you're going to get 41x. That cancels out the y. 10, because that's going to be 10 minus 10y. Equals 61.5. Right, so how can we make this a bit easier? Because we have a decimal here. Right, so, well, what we've got to do here is still divide by 41 anyway. Okay, we're dividing by 41. Now this might throw you off a bit, but here's a clue here. What's half of 41? That's 20.5. Okay, but if in doubt, let's do this. Let's keep that as a fraction. Let's just double it so we get whole numbers. Thinking of a way. Well, I know the answer, x equals 1.5, because 1.5 times 41 is 61.5, but let's just try to give you another way. That's 123 over 82. Hopefully you can see that's 41. Hopefully you can see that's 1.5. Could you do that doing bus stop method? 41, 61.5. That goes into that once remainder. $20. Oh, that's perfect, and it's 1.5. 41's going into 205. So x equals 1.5, which is the easiest one to do that. So 7 times 1.5, let's sub into here. 7 times 1.5 plus 2y equals 5.5. 7 times 1.5, that's 7. Add 3.5, that's 10.5 plus 2y equals 5.5. Minus 10.5 on both sides, so 2y equals 5, but it's minus 5. So y equals minus 2.5. That's done. Remember guys, I want full marks on these questions. So what do? Double check this into the second one. So let's check here. 3 times 1.5. Right, check. 3 times 1.5 minus 5 times minus 2.5. Does it equal 17? Okay, that's 4.5. 5 minus 5 times minus 2.5, that's going to give us plus 12.5. It does equal 17. Our check is correct. Well done. We have 4 out of 4 marks. Factorise this. We should be very good at this. Factors to make 40 minus 42. It's got to be 6 and 7. One of them's got to be a minus. It's minus 7. X plus 6, x minus 7. You can expand that to double check if you're right, if you have time. Solve this inequality. So I'm going to minus the smallest amount of x. So we're going to get 15 is less than 5x plus 3. Minus the 3. So that's 12 is less than 5x. Divide by 5. So we could just leave that as 12 over 5. And then if we want to do that the other way round, that should be perfectly acceptable. If you want to work that out, 12 over 5 is 2.4. You can use the bus stop. But that is acceptable as well as an answer. And this should be acceptable really, because that's still correct. Okay, triple brackets. This should be 3 out of 3, but at least 2 out of 3. So multiply any two that you want. So I'm just going to go with these two. So I'm going to start off. We're going to get 4x squared minus 12x plus x minus 3. Let's simplify that. So we've done this part. Let's simplify that. Let's make sure that's a minus. That's minus 3. Then we write a plus. We're going to mess up a lot. Got the 5x plus 6 now. 4x squared times 5x. That's going to give us 20x cubed. Do this stage carefully. That's plus 24x squared. Now we've got the minus 11x times 5x minus 55x. Oh, minus 11x times 5x, that's minus 55x squared. Minus 11x times 6 is minus 66x. Now we're going to get minus 3 times 5x is minus 15x. And minus 3 times 6 is minus 18. Now this, even though it's easy, 3 out of 3 marks, it's easy to make a mistake. So do these questions carefully. 24x squared minus 55x squared, that's going to give us minus 31x squared. Minus 66 minus 15, that's going to give us minus 81x. Minus 18, that's your 3 out of 3. Have some working, just so you make sure you get 2 out of 3 marks on that one. Cumulative frequency, and they're getting you to fill this in, so that's easy enough. So from 0 to 20, that's 9. From 0 to 30, it's 19, add 9, it's 28. So we know it's 80 people, so the total should be 80. So up to 40, add 17 is 45. Up to 50 is add 18, so that's 63. Add 13, that's 76. And there we go, we get to 80. That is perfect. We're going to probably use this information to draw cumulative frequency graph. Let's see, it is indeed. So you just plot the endpoints here with the information you had before. I'm going to do that very quickly. Okay, so that's all the points plotted. It does go from 0, it does start on 0, because it goes from 0 to 20, so we should start the line at 0. Make sure it's a smooth curve. Do it better than this, obviously. Okay. Use your graph to find an estimate for the median age of the people in the train carriage. Well, the median of 40 is 80. Of 80 is 40. We half that number. And do that line. And we follow this line down. That's your method mark. There. And I'm going to say that's 38.5. Now I'm going to fix up my graph because I would have got the answer that was out of range. So they would accept an answer of between 35 and 38. So wasted mark, but I did say my line was going to be a bit sloppy. That looks like 37 to me. But when you're doing this on paper with a pencil, you will be able to get that right. Question 8. Show that, so we just worked that out. Let's turn that into a improper fraction. 3 times 4 is 12, add 3 is 15. That's going to be 15 over 4 times 7 over 9. 7 times 15, well, that's 105 over 36. Right, how many 36 is going to 105? That's 2. And if you want to see what's left over, that's 3. So that's 10. What's left over is 33. So you've got 33 over 36 left over. Right. And we know 33 over 36 simplifies to 11 over 12. Because you divide top and bottom by 3, so that is an easy 3 marks. To 1 decimal place, so the lower bound is going to be 33.8 minus 0.05. That's 33.75. The upper bound is going to be 33.85. Nice easy marks there. Question 10. Okay, write down the size of the angle EBC here. So I highlighted that. That's going to be 40. Give a reason for your answer. What was the angle in the same segment? Equal. Find the size of the angle EDC. EDC. Okay, so it doesn't ask for reasons, but this is a cyclic quadrilateral. And we know opposite angles in them equal 180. So 40 add what makes 180, so that's got to be 140. That is a nice circle films one, probably the nicest one you ever get. Okay, this is a non-calculator, so you've got to substitute. And apologies for if you hear music in the background, I think neighbours are playing some music. So let's start with the positive numbers. I'm going to start with x equals 3. So 3 cubed is 27. So you're going to do a half times 27 minus 2 times 3 plus 3. Half of 27 is 13.5 minus 6 plus 3. So that's going to equal 16.5. 16.5. When x is 1, a half x equals 1. A half of 1 is a half, because 1 cubed is 1. So we're going to get 0.5 minus 2 plus 3. And that's going to be 1. No. 3.5 minus 2 is 1.5. Now, be careful here when x equals minus 1. Minus 1 cubed is still minus 1. So minus 1 times a half, so you're going to get minus 0.5. Now minus 1 times minus 2 is going to be plus 2 plus 3. So that's going to equal 4.5. And if you're good, you can do this mentally. That's going to be 3. Minus 2 cubed is going to be minus 8. Half of minus 8 is minus 4. Minus 4 plus 4, minus 2 times minus 2, plus 3 is 3. And then you just plot those points. So no, that's not minus 16.5, that's 10.5. Because I can see 16.5 is not on the graph, so that's a calculation error by me, so we can all make those mistakes. Yeah, minus 6 is 7.5, plus 3 is 10.5. So do be careful, because you should be getting full marks now. So let's plot that. 3 is 10.5, 2 is 3, 1 is 1.5, 0 is 3, minus 1 is 4.5, minus 2 is 3, and minus 3 is minus 4.5. Okay, I'm going to zoom out one. Now do this well. And that should get you the marks. And if they ask you to estimate the solutions of the root of the answer, that would be here, which would equal, minus 2.6. Okay, this is a thinking problem here. So for C it says, by drawing a suitable line on the grid, find an estimate for the solution of this equation. Now this was the original equation. Now what's the difference between these two? Because we're sort of trying to make a simultaneous equation where the difference between this and this is minus x minus 1. So we just need to draw that line, y equals minus x minus 1, which is here. So that solution will be this point here, and I would say what, that's 1.2 minus 2.4. So x is minus 2.4, and that's all it's asked for. And yes, that is your nice 2 marks there. Question 12. Make n squared the subject of the formula, and it's saying n is greater than 0. This is an important fact. So we've got to multiply both sides by n squared. So yn squared, or it should be n squared y really, alphabetical order, equals n squared plus d. Now we want all the n squares on one side, so we're going to minus n squared here, minus n squared to get yn squared minus n squared equals d. Let's factorise that out, so we're going to get n squared y minus 1 equals d. So n squared equals d over y minus 1. Now while I said n is greater than 0, it's actually got nothing to do with the question, because if n is 0 you can't divide by 0, so it wouldn't work. That's all that means. So anyway, we square root both sides. So n will equal the square root of d over y minus 1, like that. Very easy for a mark, changing a subject. T3, inverse proportion. So that means it's t equals k over m squared. When t equals 30, right, so we need to do 0.5 squared. So that's a half squared, right guys, which is equal to a quarter. So we get 30 equals k divided by a quarter. Now this could cause some of you to become unstuck, but right. But you just times both sides by a quarter. So a quarter times 30 is 7.5, so 7.5 equals k. So the formula is t equals 7.5 over m squared. So that's not too bad. Work out the value of t when m equals 0.1. Okay, let's just do what's 0.1 squared first. So that's going to be 0.01. So t equals 7.5 divided by 0.01. Now, if I write this like this, that would be equal to this, divided by 1 over 100. Okay? So keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. So t is going to equal 750, or times by 100, if you know that. But remember, when you divide by a fraction, the number gets bigger. That would probably catch some people out. Okay, bisector. Right, normally how you do this is, so you normally set a compass to a length from B, make an arc, keep it the same length, then from here set your compass point here, do some more arcs from here and here, and where it sort of intersects like that, then that will be your, oops, oh, that's just terrible, but you get the idea. If you just Google this on YouTube, it's very straightforward. MathsWatch has got a perfect video for this as well. One day I'll get a maths app so I can do this properly for you. If you know of one, then let me know, and I'll buy it and I can start using it for videos. Okay, good. Question 15 already. Ooh, this is complete the square with a coefficient. This is a tricky one for students. This is really good for your further maths and A-level skills though. So I'd write this in the form minus 3x squared plus 12x plus 7 to make it easier. Okay, so first, what are we good at? We're good at doing this. So we want to take the minus 3 out and make that x squared plus 4x plus 7 on the end here. Okay. So this is still the same as this, you can see. Now we can complete the square with this bracket. So we know that's x plus 2 squared let's keep that minus 3. Now 2 times 2 is going to give us 4, so we need to minus 4. And we need to close that bracket here. And we still got the plus 7 on the outside. Okay, perfect. Now we want to expand that out, but leave the x plus 2 squared here. What's minus 3 times minus 4? Let's put this on the outside, plus 12 plus 7 now. So that becomes minus 3 x plus 2 squared plus 19. And then let's write it in the form they want. So that's going to be 19 minus 3 x plus 2 squared. That is correct. That's in the form they want it. And that will get you 4 marks. Now remember, completing the square is to help you find the turning point. Functions, right, this should be bankers now, if you're very good at this. None of this here looks very difficult. Let's do this. Okay, so here, that means we have to substitute when f is 2.6 into here. So actually, what we can just work out first is just do f 2.6, because they're not asking us in terms of x. So 5 times 2.6 minus 7. That's going to be 13. 13 minus 7 equals 6. Right, so we're just doing G6 essentially. So that's going to be 5 times 6 divided by 6 plus 4. 30 divided by 10 equals 3. That was not bad at all. Now we've got to solve f g of x equals 2. So that's going to require a bit more working out. So we're going to let g of x equals into f of x. So what we're gonna get is, so we're gonna input the whole of this into here, so that's a 5x plus 4 here, but we must be careful because we've got a times 5 at the top here, so it's 5 times this, then minus the 7, and we know all that equals 2, so let's write that out neatly. We've got 25x x plus 4 minus 7 equals 2, but if I plus the 7 over, I'm going to get equals 9. Multiply out by x plus 4 on both sides, so we're going to get 25x equals 9x plus 36 minus the 9x on both sides, so we're going to get 16x equals 36. Now what's 36 divided by 16? Will they accept it as a fraction? Let's just simplify that to 18 over 8, then 9 over 4, x equals 9 over 4, and you might know that equals 2.25. Find an inverse function. So what is g? 5x x plus 4. So gx equals 5x over x plus 4. So remember I said we're going to set that to y equals 5x. So x plus 4. We're going to make y the subject, x the subject, and then swap the y for x at the end. So I'm going to times out by x plus 4, so we're going to get y x plus 4 equals 5x. I'm going to expand that out to get yx plus 4y equals 5x. We're going to minus 5x on both sides, so you're going to get yx minus 5x plus 4y equals 0. Don't need to do this many steps. Minus 4y on both sides, so you get 4x minus 5x equals minus 4y. We factorise the x out, x y minus 5 equals minus 4y. Then we divide out by the brackets, so x equals minus 4y divided by y minus 5, and we write in here, swap the y for the x, so the inverse is minus 4x x minus 5. That's acceptable. (17) Work out the exact lengths of AB. Show your working clearly and give your answer in this third form. Okay, so this is a circle type graph, a line goes through it, and you just need to solve that. So what are we going to let? We're going to substitute, so you can let x equal something or y equal something. I think I like dealing with positive y, so I'm going to let x equals minus 4 plus y, which is the same as y minus 4. So we can substitute that into here. So we have this, y minus 4 squared minus, use a bracket, y minus 4 plus y squared equals 10. Alright, so this is like a circle and there's a line going through it, and there's these 2 points we're going to try and find, and we're going to try to find the length of it as well. Okay, let's expand that out first. That's y squared minus 8y plus 16. Now we're going to get minus y here, but plus 4, so minus and a minus, plus y squared equals 10. That's step 1. Let's simplify that. So we're going to get 2y squared minus 9y plus 20 equals 10. We want to set that to 0. So we're going to get 2y squared minus 9y plus 10 equals 0. Now we want to factorise that. So whatever is your preferred method of factorising. When it's 2y, it's quite easy to do by inspection, but I don't want to teach you a new skill. That's got to be plus 2 plus minus 2 minus 5. Yeah. Y minus 2 minus 5, because that's going to give us minus 4y minus 5y, and that's going to give us the... Right, so that is perfect. We still need to get this answer in some third form here, but this gives us y equals 2.5 and y equals 2. Now from above, x equals y minus 4, I believe. So we can sub these values in to find x. So when y equals 2, x equals minus 2, and y equals 2.5, x equals 2.5 minus 4 minus 1.5. So those are the two coordinates. So we've got these 2 points, and we'll kind of try, imagine these are the 2 coordinates here, right? I'm going to try and find its length. Well, to find its length, we can make a right angled triangle. So let's see the difference in its width. Minus 2 to minus 1.5, that distance is 0.5. Now this is not to scale. And the height is from 2.5 to 2. So that's 0.5. So this is the longest side. We're finding the hypotenuse. So we've got to find out what 0.5 squared add 0.5 squared and square root that all for the answer. So right here, let's think back. What's 0.5 times 0.5? That's 0.25. 0.25. So we're actually trying to find the square root of a half. So that's going to be, if we square root in a half, that's 1 over square root of 2. The square root of 1 is a square root of 1. Now, it's asked us for that form. Well, we know how to rationalise thirds, right? So we type or multiply top and bottom by root 2. We're going to get root 2 over 2, which is the answer. Oh, big 6 marks, but you can get some method marks there, certainly. Question 18 is circle theorems. Okay, so got to use our circle theorems. This is question 18, so it's going to be a bit more challenging than if it appeared sooner. So angle BDF equals 70 degrees from the alternate segment theorem, because that's 70 and that's 70. Now angle EFB is going to equal 70 because opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral equals 180. So can you see this 110 here? Can you see the quadrilateral? So that must be 70. Do show you're working out. 180 minus 70 plus 40 equals 70. So you just got another method mark there. Now angle CBF equals EFB. CBF equals EFB. So here you go. Because we're going to try and prove that those were parallel lines. So that's alternate angles are equal. When there's parallel lines. So therefore the line EF is parallel to ABC. Okay, that's good enough. When I get some decent software, I will upgrade my tablet so I can write a lot neater. So guys, we're going to stop there. That's 70 out of 70 marks. There's 2 more questions, but those are really challenging grade 9 questions, and I want you to focus on gaining all those marks that you can, because the suggested grade boundaries on this paper is actually grade 6 is 28 marks. All of you can get that. Grade 7 is 36, I think that's in your pocket, and grade 8 is 46, and grade 9 is 60. So this is all very doable out of this 70. You want to focus and pick up those marks where we can, so you can reach your targets and have success. And this is really super focused revision now, and I hope that helps and you're feeling more and more confident.